Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
If you can, come on! It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my brother Tommy. How's it going?
I'm doing good.
And look at this, Tommy. He's back. It's our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. Welcome back, man.
Thank you. They can't see me dancing.
Well, so for anyone wondering,
Do
in case
you hear that? Do you hear that?
Hear what?
That's the sound of your ratings going back up.
Oh,
The downloads and listens are going up right now.
Okay, Philip.
I noticed this, Tommy. Richard and Philip got like a little thing going on right now.
yeah.
I think they need to have a match between the two of them.
Yeah, there's a little
I'll
bit
win.
of a beef here. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. It's crazy,
I'll
but
win that.
but yeah,
Win
in
that.
case,
Situations develop, man. That's
but in
Randy Savage
case
would
you
say.
missed it, last week's episode, yeah, Richard had some technical issues.
Yeah.
That's
My
safe to say.
internet was out. I was downloading things that were illegal and inappropriate to talk about on this podcast, and it crashed the internet for my entire complex. That's how much I was downloading.
Good gravy.
A terabyte of stuff.
No.
We'll just leave it at that.
Okay, well, I'm
All right,
glad
all right.
you're back up and going now, and we have a lot to talk about. So we're going to talk about NXT TakeOver in your house, it's in the books
your
now.
house.
So much to get into with this episode, or with that the pay-per-view from this past weekend.
no.
And we'll talk a little Dark Side of the Ring. It had the mid-season finale this past week as well on the Dynamite Kid. And but before we get into that, we got some like breaking news coming out today, some clickbait news to get into, some news that all of us were super excited. You need that right now. But
What's the Howard Stern one?
oh yeah. So, but it was breaking news this morning, like officially coming out. From Mike Johnson, PW Insider.
Now, he's the source.
Yes, no, he we love Mike Johnson around here. So, it was reported that it's official that NXT is bringing back Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
After being released from WWE a couple months ago, but now the reports are he is back with the company, specifically with NXT, and apparently it all stems from Triple H. He was really upset that Samoa Joe got released and has been wanting him to come back to the company.
Good man.
And he was been seen at the Performance Center recently, not necessarily in-ring work, but he has showed up there. But Richard, yeah, man, your thoughts on Samoa Joe back with the yellow and black brand, or golden yellow, or like golden black brand?
Yeah.
Well, now there's brown in that. Whatever. Anyway,
Yellow and black. Yeah.
excellent news. I'm very, very glad because I at this point I kind of feel like anything else for Samoa Joe is a downgrade. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
he's worked his entire career to be here, whether it's on the main roster or on NXT. NXT, I think, is still the best wrestling show that you can get. So whether he's in an authority figure role or carrying Cross's next opponent, I am totally for that.
Yeah, so there's a lot to break down with this announcement. So yeah, as we all know, he hasn't been wrestling since February 2020. He had the concussions, wasn't medically cleared, moved over to Raw as a commentator. We loved him on doing the commentary
He was
thing.
great as a color commentator.
But was part of the cuts back in April, the releases there. So we're all a lot of people, we speculate as well where he's going to go in 90 days. But now it looks like the guessings are no more. He's going to be back with WWE, specifically NXT. Now, as far as if he's cleared to wrestle, that is yet to be seen. But as we saw, let's go ahead and jump to the very end of NXT TakeOver in Your House. We saw William Regal very distraught, upset. Mm-hmm. He was being interviewed walking out of the Performance Center or the Capitol Wrestling Center.
Yep.
And he says he's been here for the last 7 years and he feels like it's time for a change, and he just kept walking away. So now a lot of people are speculating, what is that change? Is it Samoa Joe going to come in as the new GM of NXT? Is he going to be an enforcer role for William Regal? Because as we've seen on TakeOver and even more recent episodes of NXT on Tuesday nights, things have been very chaotic. People attacking each other all over the place in the parking lot, in the ring, backstage. It's been a mess. And William Regal probably feels he's lost control of the show. And so hence why he needs an enforcer now to set everyone in control. And Richard, if I remember correctly, when Samoa Joe joined NXT back in 2015, wasn't he kind of an S disturber, kind of going around creating chaos himself? So is this kind of coming full circle?
Samoa Joe came in as kind of, Samoa Joe, let everyone get used to him a little bit and, just kind of let the fans cheer over him. And then he and Finn Balor won the first Dusty Classic, mm-hmm. and then he turned on Balor.
Okay.
Starting his reign of terror. And when Samoa Joe finally came up to the main roster, he was Triple H's attack dog, if you recall, and took out Seth Rollins.
That's right. Okay. Mm-hmm. God, it seems so long ago now. Like, 5 years ago? Or if not short. I mean, man.
4 years ago. 4 or 5,
yeah, no, it's exciting because, listen, you're right. Richard, you brought up a good point. I think he's paid his dues, Ring of Honor, TNA, other promotions. I think he deserves to be the biggest company in the world. And so I don't know.
He deserves a spotlight. And I think even though he didn't win the WWE Championship on his first go around on the main roster, I think whenever he's on screen, he's like demands attention when he's got a mic in his hand or his in-ring ability. And look, even if he went to AEW, their attention span for their people is like, they'll give it a little bit of a spotlight, right? And then after a few weeks, it's on to the next person. So it's like with Samoa Joe, he's that kind of guy that is he's going to be the spotlight, whether you let him or not. So
that's something I've been kind of frustrated with AEW lately is they'll bring in someone, a big free agent signing, and they're the shiny new toy. And then after a few weeks, they just dump them and they go on to another storyline. So like you look at Christian Cage, who's been there. He's kind of already lost what's his special appeal, and he's off to the side now. And there's other people they brought in. So with Samoa Joe, he might have that big pop in another promotion, but then would they properly treat him and build him into that main event scene right away? I don't know.
Well,
that's gonna be interesting.
And with Ring of Honor and Impact, it's been there, done that. So it's like if he's really going to make an impact somewhere, it would have to be MLW or NWA, and even then, does he really need to be part of a company that's on the bill, even if they have the money?
And that's what I'm thinking. It's like these other promotions, like a Ring of Honor, TNA, or Impact, which he does have history. But could they really afford him? And AEW can easily afford him, but then again, they have a stacked roster anyway. So I don't know how much they'd be willing to offer him. At least MLW, NWA, same situation. These are smaller companies. I don't know if they have the funds to afford him.
It would be a great addition for any company that Samoa Joe enters. But for
absolutely.
Samoa Joe, I think
he's a game changer.
He built Ring of Honor. He held that. I think he's the longest reigning. Yeah, but he also added because I wasn't watching Ring of Honor when he was wrestling in Ring of Honor. I've seen stuff since, but I was watching TNA when he came in, and it was just kind of like, what is this? You know, like I remember reading about him in magazines and then seeing him on TV the first few times was just kind of like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, Samoa Joe, as we've talked about in the past with this release, he is a main event player. He is a star. So wherever he would go, he would draw a lot of attention and eyeballs right away. I think he would have been a ratings boost wherever he would have gone. But yeah, like I said, my question is like, I don't know how much these other companies could afford. Now, granted, if he, being released, he's re-signed with NXT, I'm sure maybe it's a little bit of a lesser deal because it's NXT, but nonetheless, it's probably more than maybe these other promotions are able to afford. So maybe he just saw the whole wrestling landscape and it's like, you know what? Like I'm older now, and these other promotions maybe can't afford me, or maybe they'll want some certain things out of me that I know I can't physically do anymore. I don't know. It just, at least NXT makes more sense.
Yeah, I would like to see him finish his in-ring career in WWE and then join the announce team on a permanent basis. When he's done, not when they say he's done, but when he feels like he's done in the ring, because he was such a good announcer.
Yeah, oh, he's like, so good. I mean, that's a great thing. If he wants to be a GM or the assistant or the enforcer, he still can be amazing just on the microphone as that character, which I'm looking forward to that as well, if that's the rumors are true. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow night on Tuesday night with NXT, see what the fallout is. I mean, it's really amazing. I love how TakeOver ended on that cliffhanger with William Regal walking out and saying what he said, and then you're like, oh my God, we got to tune in Tuesday.
Could it also be Regal? I mean, I'm in agreement. I think that that's happening, but at the same time, could it also be maybe Regal kind of saying that he's no more Mr. Nice Guy? Maybe we're going to get a heel Commissioner Regal.
That'd be cool as well. I don't want Regal to go anywhere because I love, in a couple months he's going to say War Games. I like, we need that every year unless Samoa Joe does it. War Games.
And there's another free agent that's teasing coming to NXT who, could possibly be in a managerial position. So
please share with the Kliqsters right now.
Well, I don't want to put anything out there about Selena De Laurentiis, so I won't.
Okay, that's good. But I mean, if for anyone that was interested in this person that we're speculating, follow them on social media because there's some little nuggets and clues, right? Of she's up to something.
Maybe a new name and traveling somewhere and people knowing is their Patreon and their pro wrestling tee stores are closing.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. When that happens, that usually means something is cooking. So. Yeah. Okay, so another reason to tune in this Tuesday on NXT on the Fallout episode.
I also want to say about Samoa Joe, if you want to watch any of his past matches, I watched this match many years ago, and it was one of the best matches I've seen him against was 2005 Ring of Honor against Kenta Kobashi.
Kenta Kobashi.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a chopping masterpiece.
Do yourself a favor, if you could find it on YouTube, Daily Motion, anywhere, go watch that match.
Yeah, because I was thinking, sure, he could have gone to Impact. Or if he went to AEW, he could still make appearances at Impact because they have been working together, and then therefore they could tap into that video library of his. But it would have been kind of interesting if he did go to Ring of Honor, because I think Ring of Honor, in this post-pandemic, they've been trying to rebuild themselves, and they've been doing a pretty good job with some of the talent that they have, and I give them credit. And kind of cool if he would have showed up and kind of really brought some eyeballs back to Ring of Honor and helped jumpstart them even more to that next level.
Well, unfortunately, he's done that before, though. I was at the show in Redwood City that they did 6 years ago, WrestleMania weekend, it was packed, but I mean, it wasn't sold out. I mean, we could have walked in without giving our tickets to anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I think for him at this point in his career, he's probably like, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for him. If I just had to guess, he might be like, listen, I don't feel like going on the road here or there, all these smaller promotions. Maybe he just wants to have an easier schedule with NXT. I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for him. But no, what's also interesting that out of this report from Mike Johnson was this was Triple H's call. Triple H was very upset that he got released, and this was his call. He made the calls like, I want him back. Give him to me to NXT. And it shows that Triple H really likes Samoa Joe. He was the one who brought him into NXT years ago. And remember that original working deal he had where he could still do some indie dates as well? he signed with NXT, and he was still to work some indie dates, and then eventually he evolved to full time with NXT. So it seems like Triple H has always had.
Was he in Evolve as well, doing shows there?
I don't know that long ago, but I mean, what I'm getting at is Triple H has always had Samoa Joe's back, and taken care of him.
And I think I've told you, but he broke that news to me and Jimmy and William that he was even going to WWE.
Oh yeah, back in the day when he did the appearance with you.
We saw him at Ring of Honor, and then the next day we had my Jim Ross event, and Samoa Joe was the special guest, and Jimmy's son goes up to Samoa Joe and goes, "You're Samoa Joe. You're not in my video game." And Samoa Joe just kind of smiled and said, "Yeah, but I will be next year."
Oh, so he just dropped it right there.
Yeah. It was a small group of us, so it was just kind of,
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. Well, like I said, overall, I'm excited to see what's next for Samoa Joe and whatever on-air role he has. I mean, I would hope eventually maybe he could get back into wrestling if he's cleared. Because, like, Richard, we were all kind of fancy booking via text. So, like, what could happen next? I mean, as we kind of seen, the main event scene right now in NXT is kind of up for grabs right now as far as who's the next opponent for Karrion Kross. So if Samoa Joe is healthy and able to, I mean, we would love to take our money now. We'd love to see that.
It'll be a match of the year.
Yeah. So overall, no, it's just very happy for Samoa Joe. And, I'm sure for him, like you say, probably look at the landscape around him, and probably NXT was the best spot for him, and Triple H, with the bat. And apparently Triple H is also trying to bring back some other people that were released, I think even last year. So I kind of wonder who are some other people that Raw or SmackDown let go that Triple H wanted back on NXT. I mean, there's so many names now at this point, but it's good to know Triple H, in his role within WWE, he still has some pull to maybe try to bring back some people if he doesn't, doesn't get vetoed or anything. So I don't know. I'm excited for Samoa Joe, see what he comes up next, and it just will add a whole new spark to NXT, especially on Tuesday night. So, all right, let's move on over to NXT TakeOver in your house. Like I said, it's in the books now. We'll go through all 5 matches. Richard, your overall just thoughts on this show from yesterday?
If I had more than 2 thumbs, I would have those pointing in the air right now.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Amazing show. Really, 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 all the way through.
How about you, Tommy? Overall thoughts?
It was fun. It was a really fun show to watch. I just loved the nostalgia that was involved in it. So.
That's the thing. So, I'm with you guys. I had a lot of fun watching. Of course, it's TakeOver. We're all so conditioned now. When TakeOver weekend is here, we get super excited for it. Now, granted, nothing major I felt happened on this show, like no major title changes. No. I felt like, I know we didn't do like full blown predictions for everyone to hear, but in my own head, kind of predicting the matchups, it was all pretty easy to predict here. Like I said, nothing shocking, surprising happened here.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it was still a lot of fun, a lot of great in-ring work. That was, we'll get into as well. But, in your house. I mean, it's the 2nd annual NXT TakeOver in your house. They brought it back last year, so I'm glad they did it again. And I hope it's a regular thing. I hope they keep doing this every single year.
It should be.
It's just for nostalgia's sake, for people around our age who grew up watching in your house pay-per-views back in the 90s. I think it's a fun thing to have. But they have the In Your Ring House set out there. Todd Pettengill came out this time because last year it was just video.
Was so good.
I mean, he comes so out.
Karate Fighters.
Yes, Karate Fighters. So, okay.
With the VH, they're just playing on the 90s. So good.
But overall, it was just great seeing Todd Pettengill on TV. First off, before I forget, it was the largest in-house crowd that they had at the Capitol Wrestling Center since the whole pandemic started. So it was nice having a full crowd. What'd you think as far as they didn't have the actual Thunderdome screens on this time with the fan? It was just the fans in-house.
Yeah.
Well, they had graphics on the screens. So they had like fire and stuff, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I will admit though, just Tommy and I were talking about this. The crowd though was kind of weak though. I felt like they weren't giving enough emotion.
I don't think they were mic'd well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But still, I was like, come on, like get amped up, man. These are like, big moments happening.
You could see it for certain spots, and I think that they were doing some live editing for sound effects for the TV crew. But I could see people making noise, but I couldn't hear it.
Okay, speaking of some production issues, it just reminded me, the girl singing at the beginning, Naomi Fox or whatever, like, I couldn't really hear. I mean, I think she was lip syncing, obviously, but it was like still, it was mic kind of weird. So maybe that's kind of a correlation right there with some of the mic issues throughout the night. So some production issues there. But still, go back to Todd Pettengill. I mean, he comes out, welcomes the crowd. That was great. The VHS tape later on, and the what's her name, the reporter. The NXT reporter, but he called her
Mackenzie Mitchell,
but he called her Stephanie Wyman.
So we didn't have any chemistry.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's someone from WWF back in the 90s that he used to work with in your house shows.
I remember.
But the VHS tape is like, oh, you want me to take it to the truck? It's like, no, we all do it digitally now. And he's like, oh, okay. So the whole fish out of water, older guy from the 90s, which, by the way, I was laughing because some people were like, oh, he's a loser. He hasn't done anything since WWE. He's like, no, he's had a very
successful radio
career in New York, the number one market in the world for the last 30-something years. Yes. Like, he works for the same company I work for, or did. He stopped a while ago. But anyway, I'm just saying, it was great seeing him out there. Yeah, Tommy, what was the
Karate Fighters?
Karate Fighters.
He was playing with Dexter Loomis.
Which
you know what I got from him? A vibe. I got a Mean Gene vibe.
Yeah.
Whenever they brought Mean Gene back for something, I got that vibe.
Yes, yeah.
I would love to use Todd Pettengill more often for stuff.
Absolutely. Hire him.
God, I mean, like, listen.
Think about it. If they brought him back just to do like an in-ring interview in front of the crowd and stuff, like Mean Gene used to. Yeah.
I mean, did you watch the kickoff show at all?
No.
No, I don't watch those things.
I think they can easily use them there. I mean, I think that would be improvement versus what they had. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. But no, I'm just saying, it was great. He was selling merch at one point, and then Top Row came, or Hit Row, excuse me.
Hit Row
comes in. They're trying to promote their music. So that was funny. So it was cool. He was like the fish out of the water. He was like he was total WWF 90s employer, like brought at present time, like a time jump. So it was just cool. Like his perspective was off, and I really enjoyed that. But I will admit, let me ask you. Yeah. Now, when he was playing was a Karate Fighters with Dexter Loomis, before I go off on a little tangent, Dexter Loomis, like, I don't know, what do you think of the character now? I'm kind of a little bit over him right now.
I think I am too, but I think it's more so like just the staring. Like, the staring is done.
Yeah.
Like, give him a mic, let him say something, because right now it's like his mute thing is more so like comedic at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I just laughed with Todd Pettengill.
Yeah.
Well, he was going to say how the women's or the ladies department for you, and that's what set him off. Like, got all pissed because the whole
Indy Hartwell
storyline going on right now. But no, I love Todd Pettengill. Like I said, I would love to see him more often with WWE, occasional one-off appearances. I'm all for that. Let's see. So let's go ahead and jump into the matches itself. So we cover, let's see, Todd Pettengill and all the other, the audience and all that stuff.
Yep.
The opening match here, though, was, it was a winner takes all 6-man tag team match for the North American Championship and the tag team. So MSK, Bronson Reed defending the titles against Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah.
Richard, right out of the gates, dude, Legado del Fantasma looked like $1 million bucks.
Nothing on this card would have been a better opener than this match.
Hey, but dude, the way they came out to the ring, their gear, like that blue, all had that blue shiny gear.
Total swag.
It looks so good on them. And Santos Escobar, the way he just carries himself, his charisma, his body language, just coming out to the ring.
He's got
He's
that
a
aura.
pancake now. He's a pancake now.
Yeah.
Pancake.
Yeah.
He get flattened at the end.
Yes. Well, before I forget, him and the plexiglass at the Capitol Wrestling Center
God.
don't get along because
They don't mix.
No.
because Karrion Kross put him through those. Bronson Reed did. So yeah, the walls there are not a fan of his. So
It's like that song by Accept, Balls to the Wall.
yeah, exactly, literally that. But Santos Escobar, dude, just I'm happy that he's moved on from the cruiserweight scene. He did the title scene for the last year. Now he seems to be moving on up to the North American title scene, which is great.
Yeah.
And then hopefully down the road he can move up to the NXT Championship title scene as well. Like, I love the stepping stones that they're treating his character and the faction as a whole.
You know who impressed me? You know who impressed me most in the match is Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. I think that was a bit of a breakout performance for both of them, considering a year or so ago.
Yeah.
Raul Mendoza was a jobber for years since the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, like, Legado del Fantasma, they have really, like, come around in the last few months. Like, where they were a year ago to now, they really are, got some star power now. Like, I really look forward to seeing their matches now. And between all three of them, like, they really have become, like, one of the top factions in NXT. Hit Row is a separate thing that's coming along right now. Imperium is still around. But Legado del Fantasma, I'm really, like, they've really impressed me. And like I said, between all three of them, I look forward to their matches when they're announced. But Santos Escobar, let me ask you this. I think for many years now, everyone's been trying to find the next Eddie Guerrero, big Latin superstar wrestler for WWE.
Yeah.
For over the last few years, just alone, people thought maybe Andrade was going to be the next one. Humberto Carrillo, Angel Garza. I think Santos could be that one. Like, it's still early.
I 100% agree. I think Alberto Del Rio was the closest to hitting that mark, but I think which is hilarious. I still find it hilarious that Santos's second language is English because his English is so good.
Yes.
Like you'd think he is born in America and grew up
and that's his big
English.
advantage. Yeah, I mean,
it's a huch advantage.
I mean,
that's an understatement. And for a guy who didn't even talk on Lucha Underground,
his body language, his mannerisms, the way he carries himself and walks with confidence. I mean, I hope he'll be a stud on Raw or SmackDown eventually, but I think he has a lot. I like how they've been treating him, been building him slowly. And like I said, it's been stepping stones. And so I think he can easily spend the next year, 2 years with NXT and really just becoming one of the biggest stars ever if they treat him right, which it looks like they are. They're being very careful.
Yeah, they're booking him really good.
He's money. I love it. But this match itself was a lot of fun. I know Wes Lee was kind of getting really manhandled in the corner. I like how all three of Legado del Fantasma were taking turns, like clotheslining him, like they were all rotating.
Yeah.
That was a really cool spot right there. I like that. And like they really were just beating the crap out of him. And then
go on.
No, go Tom.
I also liked how Bronson Reed wanted Santos Escobar, and he was about to get it on with Santos Escobar, but he tagged was it Raul Mendoza or whatever, and he's like, no, it's your turn or whatever. I like that. I like that kind of tidbit commotion. It's good psychology.
Well, they remember at one point, like they all started doing dives on the outside. Like, you get a dive, you get a dive, and then Bronson Reed was the last one, and like, I mean, that was all great. I mean,
it was a total spot fest.
I mean, it was fun. Like, I really enjoyed the pacing of this match.
Yeah.
It was great. And ultimately, though, Santos Escobar, I think his ego kind of cost him. We saw going off he grabbed the North American title and was just staring at it. But then Richard, as you said, Bronson Reed just comes running over, smashes him into the wall, knocks him down.
Came in like a wrecking ball, like the Miley Cyrus song.
And then MSK and Bronson Reed picked up the victory here, so they retained their titles. good opening match. You know, Richard, as you say, the opening match always a way to kind of kick off the show and the energy. It wasn't a super long match. It was only about 13 minutes, but I love it. I know we saw a promo with Thatcher and Ciampa. They're going to go after grizzled young veterans this week. So I imagine maybe the winners of that match will probably be the new number one contenders for MSK. So, but no, the title scene, the tag team title scene is really fun right now at the NXT.
They really strapped the rocket on it.
And I hope maybe Bronson and Santos have some good more matches together. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Next up, we saw Xia Li with Boa and Mi Ying come out with her, taking on Mercedes Martinez. I was really surprised how short this match was, but it was good. It didn't overstay its welcome.
I was somewhat blown away by the fact that, I mean, look, Xia Li's matches on NXT have been short.
Yes.
But the fact that she's in there with a veteran like that, and she had a really good match, and a lot of it was on Xia Li as well. So I was very impressed. I had a lot of fun with that match, and I liked the aftermath up to a point.
Yeah.
So I liked the beatdowns.
Yeah.
I didn't quite like that. What's her name? Could just grab Mercedes Martinez by the
Mi Ying.
Could just grab her by the throat.
Yeah.
And
Tongan death grip.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Haku's gonna come out and say, "You stole my move."
Yeah.
I was kind of prepped by the way they were standing there that like she was gonna take off the thing and just go like batshit crazy on her, and it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, like the match, looks like, wasn't super long. It was hard hitting on both parts, Mercedes and Xia Li going back and forth.
Yeah.
Boa, like, is this dude ever going to wrestle? I feel like he's just kind of just stands around and
he's just a punching bag at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I know at one point he pulled out Xia Li and, kind of helped a little bit with the save. And then Mercedes went past him, and then Xia Li ultimately had the spinning kick, and knocked Mercedes Martinez out, which was cool. She got the win, big win for Xia Li. She called her shot. She took out Mercedes Martinez. It's good. Xia Li, I think, is going to be progressing in the women's division, which is a very stacked scene right now.
I'm calling it right now. She's going to be a title contender by the end of the year.
I would think so. Yeah, definitely. But Richard, though, unfortunately, I felt what happened after the match was really the main focus, and it kind of took away. It overshadowed her victory, though, Xia Li's victory.
I don't think so.
Well, as far as, Mercedes, she did sold the knockout for a minute, and then she got up and grabbed the chair and started trying to hit both of them.
Here's why I'll tell you it doesn't hurt Xia Li, because when they started the match, I really liked that they showed 4 years before Mercedes Martinez beat Xia Li in the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that it shows you how far Xia Li's come, that it's the student now beat the teacher. So I think that was a cool story to be told there. Yeah. And I think we'll see more from this on NXT tomorrow night.
Yeah, and then we saw Mercedes Martinez kind of get up with the chair. It's like, I'm not scared of you, to Mi Ying. And Mi Ying finally stands up, and everyone's like, oh my God. I said it was cool, like the chokehold or the Tongan death grip, whatever you want to call it. I was like, this is borderline a little cringy. Is that I don't know. It was just kind of a little goofy, a little bit
hokey.
But I did like how Mi Ying kind of saved it by launching Mercedes Martinez against the wall, and she fell right down. I was worried, like, because she threw her and she fell right down to the ground. I was like, oh, I hope she didn't like land on her shoulder or something.
And then you see her holding her shoulder.
Yeah, because like I was like, because the way the stage was connected to the ring, and you know it has those drop downs on the sides. Like I was worried throwing her into the wall, she was gonna fall straight down on her side, on her shoulder. And she was grabbing. I was like, oh no, don't be out of injury with a shoulder injury. But I guess Mi Ying, I guess. So they have a faction now. It's official. So I wonder if Mi Ying's going to start wrestling herself. But let me ask you this, though. The fact that Boa and Xia Li were taking those chair shots from Mercedes Martinez, don't you think that was a bit of a stretch? Because we saw it with their training, those montage videos. They were taking like kendo shots and beating up each other and like are able to take.
I think she can take the beating, but I don't think you're anyone's immune to a chair shot.
Okay.
Unless you're Kane in 1998.
Yes,
so,
exactly. So, but no, I'm very happy for Xia Li. I do think the women's division up at the top needs some fresh blood, and so I think Xia Li, I think she'd be a great, credible contender for that eventually. Like, they're going to build her up as well. So next up, the match I think we were all kind of looking forward to. One of them, the main ones, it was the ladder match for the vacant $1 million championship. Cameron Grimes taking on LA Knight. Yeah. Ted DiBiase was out there ringside with his security crew with the briefcase with the $1 million championship. And let me ask you this. I overall, I enjoyed this ladder match, but I think NXT, at least from TakeOver, or just NXT in general, put a hold on using ladder matches. I think they've been doing a lot of ladder matches lately. Because, the last TakeOver, they had one for the Cruiserweight title. They had another one. Oh, my God.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But they've been doing that stipulation quite a bit lately, North American title scene. So I don't know. I kind of feel like
we don't see a lot on the main roster though, so it's just kind of you kind of parse it in between regular TV viewing and NXT. It's like it's kind of far apart.
Yeah. Well, but this match itself, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like these super over the top, like high spots, crazy dives.
That's something I did notice that they did something I felt to be brilliant was that the biggest bump happened at the end.
Yes.
It mattered the most.
Yes.
And because like when it happened, you're like, there's no way he's getting up now.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
I mean, that spot at the very end where the ladder on the outside and like a bridge with the other ladder up on the ropes. And when Cameron Grimes fell, I was like, ouch, that looked like it hurt. But it was the biggest spot of the night for that ladder match. And so, you're right. From the storytelling, it had the biggest impact.
And they made it look good as a struggle. The whole match.
And I like how, LA Knight, he took the ladder and would like swing it at Cameron Grimes. And at one point they didn't have like a little joust, like fighting ladders with each other.
Did.
But I really enjoyed their storytelling of a ladder match. I think we've seen a lot of ladder matches ourselves. And I think in the last 20 years, we're so used to like the the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, like those big over the top ladder spots, Money in the Bank. So we see something a little more simple, like what this match was. It's still, I thought, was very, very good storytelling and really just convincing of how much of it hurt their bodies what they were doing out there.
Yeah.
I did like at the very end they had the gold ladder. That was kind of like a separate thing. And
oh my God.
Like, I was kind of hoping maybe all the ladders would be painted gold, but I guess it was kind of cool that the ladder that actually was used to get the title up at the top was the gold one. So
it's just a geek part of the gimmick,
Yeah. But we see LA Knight go up top, grab the $1 million, grab the briefcase, the clear see-through briefcase with the $1 million championship. And he's now the new $1 million champion, which is now is he the fifth one? Let's see. Ted DiBiase, Virgil, Stone Cold,
Steve Austin,
Jr., Ted DiBiase Jr.,
Ted Jr.,
and
I guess LA Knight.
LA Knight. So the fifth.
But LA Knight's only the third to actually win the belt because two of those people were awarded the belt.
Yeah, that's
default.
true.
Yeah.
Actually, let me double check here. Yeah, Ted DiBiase, Virgil, Stone Cold, or Ringmaster, Jr., LA Knight. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I was double checking here online, but are you happy with this decision? Like, are you cool with LA Knight being the winner?
Oh my God, yes! Because it just means that we're gonna get a loud crying Cameron Grimes on TV this week, and it's gonna be hilarious.
Okay, so do you think Cameron Grimes is a babyface now?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. He might say some terrible. People love it. I mean, he got the biggest pop of the night.
Yeah, remember a couple weeks ago he cut that promo, which was borderline a babyface promo, except at the end he's like, I like paying people to suffer or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a babyface promo, which is fine by me. And like I said, the crowd loves him to the moon. Like, that has gone over now. As was Richard was a Bully Ray has said many times on Busted Open Radio, it's better to get over than go over.
Yeah. Well, no, did he get over or oh, good Jesus.
Right? Get over or go over.
Yeah.
It's better to get over than go over.
Well, he doesn't say one or the other is better. He just said, like, if you're looking at the match, Cameron Grimes got over and LA Knight went over.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like LA Knight got over as well. Like he kind of got both, and I think he needs that more than Cameron Grimes does right now.
Absolutely. But honestly, both their personalities, they have these very loud personalities. I mean, they're both, I think, ready for Raw or SmackDown just from that like mainstream TV appeal. But for LA Knight, I think this is really going to help him launch him up to like more of a main event type scene. I mean, but like, okay, for the younger people out there who didn't grow up with the $1 Million Championship when it originally debuted back in '89, is this something he's going to actually defend, or you think it's going to be more just a prop? Like, I'm kind of thinking. It
sounds like he's going to defend it. And I heard on Busted Open today that Ted DiBiase is sticking around.
Awesome. That's great. I mean, say what you want to say how WWE uses like their legends and stuff. I think Ted DiBiase, the way he's been used so far, has been great. And I'll put it out there. Like, if you think about this whole storyline kind of came organically out of nowhere, right? If you think about it, it all started with Cameron Grimes with the whole GameStop stock, and and that was a thing a couple months ago, and that was like a real life event. I'm sure NXT creative saw them, was like, let's make this a story for our guy, and Cameron Grimes ran with it. And then I'm sure they're like, okay, how can we expand on it? Well, let's get Ted DiBiase. Okay, what else can we do? Let's get the $1 Million Championship. All right, who should he go up against? LA Knight. I mean, it's really crazy how a real life event has crossed over into NXT and has how organically grown into this very fun storyline that we all love.
Really snowballed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do think the right decision was with LA Knight winning, just because, it's a heel, and that way Cameron Grimes can go on the babyface run to go after it. So I'm all excited for that. Next up was the Women's Championship, is Raquel Gonzalez defending against Amber Moon.
Damn.
Man. Very hard hitting as well. I mean,
slobber knocker.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, got Amber Moon with that DDT on the outside from the top rope onto that stage, the platform. That was great.
Did you think that she was going to win? Because I legitimately thought Ember Moon had it at one point. When she hit the second eclipse, I was like, oh crap, Dakota Kai's not even at ringside anymore.
Yeah, because Shotzi Blackheart made her big return after getting taken out a couple weeks ago from Raquel and took Dakota Kai out. I will admit, okay, I'm glad you reminded me. Tommy, you saw that. Richard. Yeah. Okay, Dakota Kai and Shotzi Blackheart, they're fighting on the outside. They get to the top of the ramp by the house.
Yeah. She fell down like a drunk girl.
Yeah, into the plants. But then they get up, and then they're walking towards the curtains like they're chasing each other.
Yeah.
But they literally stop like 2 feet before the curtain and like just start casually walking to the back.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. You're not
tired. They're tired from all that brawling.
They wanted to go to catering.
I'm like, come on, run past the curtains until you're off screen completely. Imagine the cameras are on you at all times. That was my one little beef. I was watching this. I was like, come on, Shotzi, come on, Dakota, run to the back. Don't just casually walk.
So tired.
But no, this match was a lot of fun. I mean, Ember Moon, she is a former champion, so we know she can go out there and put a banger herself. And so I thought her and Raquel, it was a really good match. It was also really short as well. I mean, it was under 13 minutes. So
it didn't feel like it. I thought it was longer than that. You telling me that's kind of surprising.
Yeah. But, Raquel won. I love, her power slam, the one-arm power slam.
I also liked how was it Amber when she did she use the Eclipse? And as soon as she was about to put the pinfall, you see Dakota Kai out of nowhere put Raquel Gonzalez's foot on the rope.
Oh, yeah,
that was smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth like butter.
Richard, is it kind of amazing if you think about it, in the last year, how much the roles have changed between Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai? Because remember, was it NXT TakeOver Portland when Raquel debuted as Dakota Kai's like muscle, and she was like her enforcer. And now in the last year, Raquel's now champion. Dakota Kai's the sidekick. Like, how much has changed? Like a 180.
Yeah,
it's 100% Diesel and Sean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Sean, works creative, so I'm sure he has a lot of input on this. So, no, Raquel retains the championship. So it's like, I wonder who they go with next, though, as a possible opponent. I mean, this was kind of a little bit of a last minute build out of the tag team scene. We see them fighting more in the back as well, all 4 ladies. William Regal's getting frustrated. We also saw Karrion Kross and Pete Dunne also wrestling the back, and William Regal's trying to stop it. It was total chaos backstage at TakeOver last night. So, but as far as what's next, I mean, there's a lot of options. I mean, we know... what's her name? Came back with Poppy. Oh my God! Why am I?
Io Shirai.
Io Shirai came back, so I wonder maybe she'll get a rematch or something. So
I was thinking Toni Storm, but
that too as well. So all right, let's get into this main event now for the NXT Championship. Fatal 5-way. Cross taking on Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Pete Dunne. Or as Tommy said, you think it looked like. His outfit.
Well, it looked like a woman's bathing suit, and he got the fur. It's like who wore it better, him or Frankie Monet? I mean, come on.
But Richard,
it's ridiculous.
What'd you think of this main event here?
I think this is the best NXT main event since Bayley and Sasha the Iron Woman match.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Please explain.
It was a very long main event, but like nonstop action the entire, because there's 5 people.
Yeah.
So it was just like, there was not a moment of like, nothing going on. There was something going on at every second for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, I was texting with John LaRocca last night, and he said he thought everyone was really well booked in this match for their roles.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Except for Pete Dunne. He sucks.
I mean, I love he tried to break Cross's finger, and Cross just threw it.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so I will say this. At times, I felt like it was more like a fatal 4-way with Cross occasionally making cameo appearances. But I like what they did, how all 4 guys or throw them through the door at the In Your House set. I said on Twitter, Karrion Kross should be the new spokesperson for DoorDash because he knows how to bust through a door. Then later on, they power bombed him through the table. So there were moments how like all 4 guys, the smaller guys, would go at it, and then Cross would come in and take them all out, and then eventually they would overcome that and take him out, and then he'll be off to the side, and then all 4 guys will go at it. Yeah. So I kind of enjoyed the pacing of it all, as far as how everyone had their moment to shine. When you got 5 guys, I mean, outside of Karrion Kross, all 4 of these guys are main eventers. They all have had successful runs in NXT. So you cannot expect less than a 5-star match with all of these guys involved. So it was great. With Karrion Kross, I know his in-ring work might not be at the same level as some of these other guys, but I think by having all of them in the ring, it was able to kind of mask that, and he can focus on just being the monster and just destroy them at certain moments. Is that a safe observation, Richard, as far as playing to his strengths in this match as like just this?
For this match, yeah. But I think he can hang with them one-on-one.
Yeah. Also, what I enjoy, I mean, it was kind of crazy. I know we didn't have time last week because with your internet and stuff, but this match kind of came together kind of last minute because for the last couple weeks it was more of the build to Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross, and then that was taken care of on just a Tuesday night, and then these last 2 weeks it was kind of a quick last minute build. I felt like this was like NXT TakeOver stew. They just threw all the possible main eventers into one match. It'd be easier just take it all out here. It was a lot of fun.
I did find it interesting that the person that they were talking about the most, and even Cross said during the press conference that he thinks is the most formidable opponent in that match is Kyle O'Reilly, and that's the person he wound up choking out.
Yeah, because I was kind of thinking, out of all these guys in the match, I thought Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly would take each other out because of their history. I thought Pete Dunne can get taken out by Cross, and they're going to protect him. They want Pete Dunne to lose yet. I thought Johnny Gargano was going to eat the pin here. I really thought so. So I was really shocked when Kyle O'Reilly submitted in this match. I was like, wow.
But his selling was just so top-notch in that match.
Who was? Which one?
Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah. It was great. I mean, God, there were so much great moments in this match. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, God, just They're back and forth. I mean, Johnny Gargano coming out with the Shawn Michaels outfit.
Yeah.
I love that. I loved it.
And you see the rest of the way was Austin Theory had the Diesel look. Indy Hartwell had the Razor Ramon look. And then what was Candice LeRae's outfit supposed to be?
No idea.
Was that supposed to be 1, 2, 3 Kid? Or
I think so.
Maybe.
Okay, I was trying to look at it. It was a little bit of a different version. So,
Or was it? It could have been Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Maybe.
okay, I got to double check, look at it closely. So, I like how the way really embraced the Kliq look.
Yeah,
So,
and I thought,
Kiss asses.
and to me, Gargano was like a man possessed during this whole match. I thought.
yeah, I mean, God, it just
his kicking, the super kick and all that, the way he pivots it was perfect.
at first I was the beginning of the match I was not a fan of because it felt like it was two guys in the ring and everyone else was disappeared. Like, where'd everyone go?
Yeah. You just want them all brawling.
Yeah,
out
I want
in
them
the
all
ring.
going at it. It's like they all
But it was great though
disappeared.
because Cross is just standing there like ready for it. And it's like,
Yeah.
because I thought they were all going to jump him.
Yeah.
It looked like they're all going to jump him, and then they're all idiots.
Oh yeah, when all four in the corner and he comes
Yeah.
out in the middle. Yeah, they should have done. Oh, that would have been fun too. But listen, I like I said, this was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm with you, Richard. I'm so tired of Pete Dunne's finger snapping. It just doesn't.
I was
did it to
concerned. I was
Cross.
concerned for a minute during that because during the when everyone was walking out, they kept talking about Pete Dunne when everyone was walking out, and during the match, it's like they're not going to make him champion, are they? And then I was kind of thinking, it's like he has the same match every match. Like it's like Gargano can put on a stellar match every time. Like he's not a main event guy. Like my bias aside, like what separates him from the pack? Not much.
To me, I said this to Danny last night. I'm going to use a boxing terminology. I think Pete Dunne at this point is a gatekeeper.
He's good at putting over other talent.
That's what I'm
He's
thinking.
like X-Pac. What
Yes.
X-Pac used to be.
Well, I think Pete Dunne, he's not that great on the mic. His promos are not that strong.
They're not cutting edge.
No. Johnny has an amazing personality.
Yeah.
Adam Cole, he's Adam Cole, baby. I mean, we know what he can do.
He's one of the great workers.
Kyle O'Reilly, I wonder, because he got submitted by Cross, I wonder he'll be pissed off and get back more of an edge and lose the hat and sunglasses, the Kansas cool look.
No,
Kind of like
look.
what
Good
Dragunov has been in UK after losing to Walter. He's kind of had that
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde personality.
Yeah, so no, but it was a lot of fun. And then after Cross wins, great posing with Scarlett in the ring. And then we saw William Regal walk out of the performance center. So I really thought, Richard, like Tommy and I were sitting there and, Cross was, posing. They showed the replays and then they showed him again up the ramp and they went to another set of replays. I'm like, wow, I thought it would be over by now. Like this is a little bit of extended, ending scenario here. I really thought when he was up at the ramp, I thought Samoa Joe was going to come up from behind.
That's what I thought too.
I thought Keith Lee was going to come up from behind.
Oh, dude, that would have been awesome. Man.
I
I
know
know.
possibilities, man.
I mean, we'll see what happens on NXT this week. I mean, the end on a cliffhanger, very smart as far as getting people to tune in. So, no, overall, NXT TakeOver in your house. We loved it. I hope they keep doing this. And the rumor is the next one will be in August and it'll be on the Sunday after SummerSlam. So we'll see what happens if that's going to be the case. So, last thing we'll just touch on real quick since we've been talking about regularly. Dark Side of the Ring, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it was the mid-season finale for season 3. They're going to be on break now for the next 3 months. They'll be back in September. Cool. So this past week was episode 6, Dynamite Kid. Richard, I know Tommy's a huge fan of Dynamite Kid. So over the years, I've seen a lot of the shoot interviews and people talk about Dynamite Kid. It kind of reflected in this episode. I think they kind of touched on those highlights of what he'd been through in his life. Was there anything that really stood out for you in this episode of Dark Side of the Ring about Dynamite Kid?
I think this episode is on par with the first season episodes as being really good.
Yeah,
However, I think it is a travesty and a crime that they did not discuss in detail what happened between the Bulldogs and their breakup.
Yes,
Because,
thank you. That's what I told Tommy right after.
I was going to touch on
I'm
that
just
as
like
well.
they just jumped over and showed him retiring in Japan and looking smaller, and it's just like, Okay.
Yes, I mean, that was the whole thing. Like, God, thank you for saying that, because that's what Tommy and I talked about. It's like, we enjoyed the episode and learning about, his wrestling career and his family and his home life, humanizing him and, what he went through in his personal life and how that reflects of who he became.
And how he came up and how he was trained.
All that.
Japan.
But, when you think about the Dynamite Kid, the big part of his history was being a tag team with Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldogs.
Outside of his matches with Tiger Mask, that's his career.
Yeah. Yes. And so that was a big dramatic event as far as them splitting up, and Davey Boy kept the British Bulldog name and the whole falling out that they had and just their relationship, even though they're cousins, how they hated each other. And Tommy, you were telling me about SummerSlam 92, right?
When before the match between Davey Boy versus Bret Hart, I believe I heard that he was hiding from the Dynamite Kid, Tom Billington, because
he showed up.
He wanted to look, because he knew Davey was in town for SummerSlam. He wanted to go look for him and wanted to basically kick his ass, confront him.
Listen, Dynamite Kid. I forgot who said it, but someone said when he passed, and remembering him, they said Dynamite Kid, he's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. He, as far as influence on the business and what we see today, all the high flyers, what he was doing in the 80s with Tiger Mask, those legendary matches, it really set the bar of what it means to be a high flyer. Yeah. And then what we saw, how that evolved into ECW, Rob Van Dam, and all his matches with Jerry Lynn. And, what we see now ultimately, like in the independent scene, and, what we see in a lot of these promotions, the high flying stuff. So it was cool that they really pay tribute to that and acknowledging that. But obviously the cost that it took on his body and with the steroid use and just the hard hitting, and you would
the bumps he took.
Yeah, you would assume that he probably had some concussions and the CTE stuff.
Well, you have to look at it as this as well. Is that he's the smallest guy on the roster, right, in the 80s, and it's not just that he's taking these big bumps. He's taking big bumps from wrestlers that are 3 times the size of wrestlers today, when everybody was built like Braun Strowman. So it's like, like he's getting tossed around by giants.
I could not believe he had back surgery and was back wrestling in a few weeks. I mean, I know there was that match with the Hart Foundation where he immediately got hit with the megaphone on the outside, and that took him out, so he didn't actually step in the ring, but the wheelchair to the curtain and then come back.
That was brutal.
I did not know that Dynamite Kid's ex-wife is the sister-in-law.
Neither did I.
For Bret Hart's ex-wife. I was like, I did not know that. I mean, I know Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy are cousins. We know Davey Boy married Bret Hart's sister, and then Dynamite Kid, his wife, is Bret Hart's ex-wife's their sister. I was like, whoa, it's just really Calgary, man. That whole wrestling scene, they're all one big family up there, it seems like.
It's very incestuous.
Exactly.
I thought both his daughters were great on this, at least explained from their standpoint. It was really interesting. He would have these outbursts, but at the same time, he would try to make up for and be a great dad. So
I think that's the steroids.
And the roid rage. I mean, that was kind of scary.
From what I heard, the Evan Husney and Jason on Dark Side of the podcast that Conrad does on Jeff Jarrett's feed, and they were both talking about how all of the family still they all love him. Like even the wife, it's just like they had enough. They just didn't think that he'd be gone forever. He'd never come back to America. Yeah,
I mean that was interesting how she kept reinforcing, okay, I know he did all these bad things, but he was still good at home with this and this. So she really trying to, at least with his legacies, like, listen, I know he had his issues, but at the same time, he also had these really good moments that you all did not get to see. So I thought that was kind of cool. She was great, a very strong woman in her own right.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. Like, she didn't want to drink one night, so he put her in the closet. Yeah. The shotgun incident, pulling the hair. I mean, God, it just, I will admit, maybe the silver lining was when Bret Hart's ex-wife got the ticket and said, like, go back to England, and he went but never came back to Calgary. At least that separated everyone, and nothing major tragic happened out after that.
Yeah, I mean, it was very similar to the Ultimate Warrior episode where they showed that conversation with Warrior and his first wife when he was letting her go. And we got the same type of thing with Dynamite and his daughter.
Yeah.
When she went to visit him in England, and like that whole she said in the show that she always remembered her dad holding her hand, and then she came over and held his hand, and he just said, "I love you. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah. And I like, at least we have that for them to end on versus, it could have been worse. Like, imagine if he would have stayed in Calgary. Could have been like a Chris Benoit situation. Like, I at least he took the plane ticket, left, even though he never came back, and that sucked. He didn't really interact with his family afterwards. But at least he separated himself and unfortunately just died like an old grouchy man. But at least,
he had the stroke. And all
at least, but nothing tragic came from that, like a Chris Benoit type situation. So that's one thing. Maybe the silver lining of him moving away, get away from it all, is separate himself. So, obviously the family still had its, issues and stuff. But, no, but overall, I thought it was a very fun episode, a Dark Side Ring. I enjoyed it. And, I think if you're a fan of Dynamite Kid and want to learn more about him, if you haven't had a chance to watch any of the shoot interviews, watch this. Oh, the Rougeau brothers, that whole thing. Very entertaining. like Dynamite Kid, who was like a bully, hit what's his name, Tommy?
Jacques Rougeau.
Jacques Rougeau hit him. Jacques Rougeau felt embarrassed, couldn't show up in the locker room, so he eventually, his dad told him to get a roll of quarters. He punched him, the blood spit it out, and then he knew Dynamite probably would get more payback, so he lied and said he has like a hitman that watches him, and if he doesn't call him, he'll go.
French Canadian mafia.
And Dino Bravo ate it up and passed it over to Dynamite Kid's like, dude, he's serious. You don't. And then Dynamite Kid got paranoid and moved away, and so that was Jacques Rougeau was a very funny. Seemed like a very fun storyteller. I thought that was very interesting as well. And so anyway, it's a lot of good stuff. So definitely worth, I think, checking out for everyone. So, all right. On that note, let's start wrapping things up. Richard, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Pro Wrestling 101. And please send your hate mail to me on Twitter at BabyHuey83. Use the most vile and despicable language you can think of, but make sure you hashtag in the Kliq.
Thank you, Tommy.
So we know why you're cursing at me.
God damn it.
At BabyHuey83.
Well, you can find
on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83, at In The Kliq, as well on social media. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. Rate, comment, share, leave a comment. Listen on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. That helps out a lot. Merch, link in the bio. InTheKliq@gmail.com. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.